afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, May 3, 2024. That's at 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Having a reverse aging health call tonight at around 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, when we figure out that we are the power, and that's just not, saying it to say it, but when we figure this out as a civilization, and we learn to master our ego mind and our thoughts, and we operate from the heart mind on a continual basis, this planet will be a God planet paradise. And that's where we're heading. That's where we're going. Now, it may not seem that way, because everything that's going on around us is implemented by ego mind. Everything, all of it. Conflict, the evil, good, the in-between, all of it is predicated on ego mind. When we look at that, and we say, where does this come from? Where does all of this, how does it appear? Where does it actually, what's its root? Where is its origin? And it is through our focus as a civilization. It's through what we focus on. That's where it comes from. Now, a lot of people would want to think that, well, no, it comes from over here, or them, or this, or that. That's ego mind protecting ego mind. But that's not the case. So it's not getting upset about it or feeling bad about it. It's a very positive understanding because we have discovered it. Not just superficially, but deep within us. We know that, and it's experience, yes. Are we on adventure after adventure after adventure? Yes. Even when we create for ourselves an adventure that isn't fun at all, that goes the opposite direction. So every now and then we tap into it. We understand that, wow, I can do anything I choose to do. And to understand that the universe has got your back 24/7, forever, eternally, always. And to make this connection and to focus on these areas, focus on deep eternal gratitude, and focus on being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself, and focus on what you want and not what you don't want. But no one's going to make any of us do that. No, I don't care what it is or who it is. Not going to make us do that. We will do it because we choose to do it. That's it. We don't do it and say, oh, gosh, I've got to do this, or I've got to meditate, or I've got to focus on this. We do it with joy and bliss and deep gratitude because we want to. Not because we have to, because we want to. And everything that is transpiring. So if you take a group of people and they're mired in this facade, this show, right? And it doesn't mean that it isn't real in some areas to a certain extent, where there's conflict and grappling, and you've got the bad wanting to be in charge, and you've got the good wanting to eliminate the bad to be in charge, right? And we say to ourselves, well, this is all being done through what we focus on, through the influence of the programming and the conditioning that we receive on a continual basis, not just when we're babies, and after we form our personality and characters, after the body forms its personality and character. And then, of course, the ego mind shifts in, and rest is history. But we still, one might ask, well, don't we ever, that programming, doesn't that stop? Doesn't that end? No, it continues. Because most of us aren't aware that it continues, or even aware that it actually has happened to us. So we go and we take a second look, or maybe a third look. This is strange. It's kind of weird. But I do believe that what I'm seeing is what I've created. And in the event that I choose, right, that any of us choose to step into it, the doom, the gloom, all of those superficial things that we create to challenge us so that we experience it. I mean, that's what we're all about. God's in these bodies, supremely, omnipotently powerful, immortal beings that never die, super manifestors and creators, brighter than 1,000 suns. And this is what we do. Why do we do it? Because we can, and we're constantly learning and experiencing as gods. And when we really truly understand it, this body carries me. Period. That's what this body does. It carries me around. And allows me to experience all these wonderful things and not so wonderful things. And we experience one side of the coin and then the other side of the coin. Now, when we say you manifest only the wonderful things, right? Every day, every day, every day, every day. For thousands and billions and trillions of years, you manifest in physical form. You're manifesting everything wonderful and happy and joyous and good, right? How long do you believe you would become bored? A lot of people believe that, well, I have $1 billion. How am I going to be bored? I can buy anything, do anything, pretty much. And just have a wonderful time forever. And now you watch, as we watch the civilization and those that are immersed in wealth, and how many of them are bored. They get bored. A lot of them go on to drug dependencies and self-abuse, abuse to others, and the majority do. Why is that? You get bored. It's like if you ate the same thing every day, how long would it take you to become bored with it? Now, is that ego mind? Yeah, it is. We eat because of what? Well, energy for the body. But yet, in the physical material world, we eat and have fun and interact and talk and that type of thing. So that all comes in. From the God perspective, it's energy for the body. So it doesn't matter what it is that you're consuming, because all you're doing it for is to feed the body energy. And we pick and choose. So we know that we're being run by an ego mind, which is an illusion. If the mind's an illusion, it creates the ego mind, which is also an illusion to what? Control us. Now, is it a baddie, the boogeyman? No. It's a good thing it's there because it teaches us. How many of us on this planet are always vying to do what? Be right. To be right. Isn't that true? Most of us, we strive to be right. We're not interested in being wrong. And even those two words are invented. They're illusions. Because all we're ever doing is experiencing. You have in your perspective, you have a good experience, right? This was great. I'd like to do this again. And then on the other end, you have a not so good experience, a bad one. And you say to yourself, I don't know where this came from, but I don't really care to have this presented to me again. And see, then we have what? We've got all this noise. All of us, none of us are exempt from it. What is that noise? Where you would like to just go somewhere where it's total peace and quiet, no nothing, no noises of civilization, and just be. Just be. But then the ego mind comes and says, wow, you don't have time to do that. You've got your job. You've got all these responsibilities. You can't do that. Or you can't afford it. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. And the ego mind continues mastering us. Can one be happy in a storm? Can one be happy in a storm? Absolutely. But most of us will be drawn into the storm. Okay? Why? Because we're looking at all the stuff going on. Things blowing around and smashing and banging here and there and booming. We get frightened, fearful, right? Don't know what to do. If you see a wave coming, water wave, you're standing there. At first you look out on the water and you go, you don't notice it. And so you kind of blow it off. Way out there. You go, what the heck is that? And you notice that it stretches a long way. It's not just like a blob coming. It's a long something. And it's getting closer because you can tell it's getting closer. Finally you figure it out and go, that's a huge wave of water. What's your immediate response? Ego mind response is, got to get out of here. Got to run, got to get out of here as fast as possible. And it keeps coming, and it's getting bigger and bigger. Overwhelming, so to speak. Now, obviously our survival as human instinct would say, well, I've got to I'll get in the vehicle and I'll just zoom out of here, floor it, and just get out of here, see if I can outrun it. It's out there far enough. And then another one would say, I'm fine with it. I'm in this body temporarily. It isn't here. It's not going to be around forever. This is an experience. You see the difference? The analogy there? See, your ego mind wants you to run to protect the ego mind because you don't know that you're not the body. And the other one knows they're the body, so they're not going to be harmed. See the difference? That's when you go deep within to discover all of this and make the comparison totally different perspective. One might say, well, I'm not going to be able to run it. It's going too fast, and I don't have a vehicle. But some people will still try to do it. That's the way our lives are. We have these waves that come in. And sometimes we're blindsided. We're just, wave flows right over us. And we don't know what to think. Other times we're kind of prepared in a way. So we don't get upset or anything. And then the wave dissipates and doesn't flood us. It just depends. And then you get to realize that, hey, wait a minute, I'm doing this. Now, you could say to yourself, well, I'm not powerful enough to stop that wave, to dissipate it. But you are. But see, here's the crucial part. You don't believe you are, plus you don't know that you're the God in the body. So it negates it all, and the rest is history. See, when you really, really, really know that this universe, pure, deep, eternal love, deeply and eternally loves you 24/7 for eternity, doesn't pass a judgment on you, doesn't ridicule you, doesn't cut you down, doesn't punish you. It's always there. And no matter what you have done to date, in this now, to others or yourself, throughout your life so far, this universe has forgiven you. Period. It's forgiven you. But something comes in where you become guilt-ridden, disheveled. Because of what? Ego mind coming in. Someone might say, well, how can you be forgiven for everything? You should be punished. No, that's karma. We all have that. That's karma. It's what we accumulate. What is karma? It's what we accumulate, lifetime after lifetime. You know, you could have a lifetime that you're just a real son of a gun. Really, truly. And it builds up that karma, negative karma. And eventually, you will know that you must tend to it. That's all. The karma is up to each and every one of us that we accumulate. The universe is constantly healing us. But can you imagine that you don't know this and you have this huge, impenetrable shield? Okay? And this shield goes up, unbeknownst to you. And everything really, the high abundance and bliss and happiness and joy bounces off. Doesn't it make sense that like attract like, right? So within us, every one of us, are bliss, joy, happiness, peace, and contentment. It's the ingredients for the gods that we are, the pure consciousness. So wouldn't that attract a lot of that to you? Absolutely. When you're in a state of joy and happiness, and there's not really a reason for it. Everybody's got to have a reason. Why are you so happy? There's got to, there's got to be a reason for it. No, I'm just happy. You're just happy. Yeah. I don't have to have a reason to be happy. In fact, things don't have to be going hunky-dory for me to be happy. What does that do? Have you ever been in that situation where either it's you or you get around people that are just happy? And they're not, using artificial things to make them happy. They're just happy. They're genuinely grateful. And you can feel it coming from them, from within them. So it's kind of catching cages. And you start feeling good. And then you like staying around those people. And then you say, ego mind comes in and says, you aren't going to be able to find those kind of people. Look at the condition of everything, what's going on out there. How are you going to find people that are happy? Right? Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. There probably isn't any happy people. But there is. So why does this happen? Because, like I've shared many times, we're all teaching each other. We really are. And we're different facets of each other, so we're kind of reflecting each other. Different aspects, of course. Different things. And most of us don't know that. Because the ego mind, right? Well, they think they know it all and blah, 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 blah. And how do they know about that and everything? And then you go, you start going, what are they teaching me? And that shifts everything. So now you're curious on what they're teaching, rather than sitting there going, what right do they have and how did they know? You know, all of these low frequency things, protecting the ego. So then, when you switch it, all of that fades out, and you're looking at the facts and say, what are they showing me or teaching me? And it'll come in, and then you're filled with a gratitude that they came into your life and they're teaching you some things. It doesn't matter if you're 180 years old. They could be a 10-year-old, and you're 100, and they're teaching you something. That's what we're all about anyway. We're all, in a way, assisting each other. Eventually, we will become consciously aware of it. So what does it feel like for you when you help somebody? Because you want to, not because you're going, well, if I do this, they'll do this. Or if I do this, maybe they'll do this. Right? But I'm sure we've all done it this lifetime. We've helped someone that just felt absolutely magna glorious. It felt so good. And it could be, you do something for somebody and they just smile. And you kind of just melt into bliss because it's genuine. It's not put on. We do know when, some of us are not genuine, but we put on a mask and we act genuine. And if you're in tune, when you're in tune with yourself, you'll know that. You'll know the difference, not as judgment, but as understanding. Now, we walked around, and we're walking on this planet. Well, we're moving around doing things. Now, there's things that these eyes that we have with these bodies cannot see at all. So you picture these, all of us receive, it's like it's a golden white light. Nothing, color-wise, there's nothing to match it on this planet. It's way beyond that color spectrum. And so it's a pure golden white light, and it's fringed on the outside in a pink that you couldn't describe. And what this is doing is going right into the God that you are. It's beaming right into your body, right through the heart chakra, into the soul and the God within the soul. 24/7. 24/7, as long as you're in that body. All of us, this is happening. Now, since a lot of us are in meshed or immersed in with the ego mind, we just don't see it. We don't even recognize it. In fact, some people would think it was some kind of an invasion on them or some boogeyman stuff. And, it's funny, if you remember when you were a child, and we all have these, we develop certain kind of fears, fear of a monster under the bed. If we hear a noise or we're at night in bed, we get scared because, we think a window tapping, or it could be a branch on a tree hitting a window in a storm. And so a lot of things, because our imaginations were front and center when we were children. I mean, we came up with stuff, we could, like, how many times did you say to yourself, what does a rainbow taste like if you could lick it? I wonder what that tastes like. I wonder what it feels like to be a tree. What does it feel like to be a tree? You're looking at a tree as a kid, and you go, I wonder how it would feel to be a tree. That's childlike curiosity. Okay? And we all have childlike curiosity. It's just that we've kind of thrown so much over it that it just sits there. We don't even know it exists anymore. Because why? Well, we're adults, right? And this is what we're taught in this society on this planet, which is basically the human psyche. This is what we're taught. And you have to take life seriously, too, because you don't take life seriously, then why are you in this life? Everything in this life is serious. You've got to really buckle down and strap yourself into the seat and, strive and, earn the right to live and, work hard. Doesn't it, when you hear these frequencies, don't they kind of, when you start becoming more aware, and you hear these frequencies, these words, and you go, wow, is that whacked out or what? We're here to enjoy life, right? But yet everything around us says the opposite. You've got to struggle through life in order to appreciate it. You have to have lots of disappointments, downfalls and downturns, and life is a challenge. Life's a bitch, and then you die. These are all negative frequencies. And for most people, their lives that are in that belief mechanism, without even knowing about it, their lives are a bitch. They suck. But that's the way. How many times have people said that's the way life is? Just the way life is. I've been dealt these cards, so it is what it is. Who dealt you the cards? You did. Why is your life the way it is? Because you created it. We do things. Not like we're, analyzing what we're doing, but we just do things. And we think things. And they're created. And then when they manifest into our lives, and we say, where did this come from? Why people say why they don't understand why they have a dark cloud hanging over them. It's because of how they think and how they view. Would any of the things happening on this planet right now be happening? Majority of us knew that we were gods and that we were housed in these bodies and that we were omnipotently powerful beings. And we lived in the heart mind and the ego mind was gone. And we mastered our thoughts. Would any of it be going on? No. What would it be like? Just for giggles. What would it be like it would be utopia. It really would. You see, we've been taught that, well, you can't have that because that's not practical or it's not realistic. Pie in the sky stuff. And actually, the opposite is true. This is our natural state of being, a utopian existence. But see, we've been trained so long in so many generations and lifetimes that we believe the opposite. That can't be, that can't happen. To live in a utopian civilization. To exist. To enjoy your life, have all the abundance you could ever imagine. Never get sick. Never grow old. Think, these are tangible. These are not, a lot of, you ever hear, when you were growing up, did you ever hear the term, oh, you're just full of pipe dreams? Pipe dreams. In actuality, whatever you can think, you can create. It's true. Of course, there's something there, though, that usually deters that. 9 times out of 10. What is it? Ego mind. The ego mind stops us from believing in ourselves. The ego mind creates the guilt that we experience with ourselves. So you say to yourself, well, I shouldn't have done that. I feel really bad about that. And that kind of grows in you. I mean, I've done it in situations where someone, it's like I mentioned this a long time ago. I was in this fender bender, but I had left the body. It's a strange feeling. So you're in your car and you're driving. Nothing out of the ordinary. You're just tooling along. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself, it's kind of like you're not in that body, but you still are connected to it in a way. And it's like you're not thinking anything, you're just in a state of complete peace. Total. And even though you kind of know you're driving this car, doesn't matter. So, of course, the universe says, okay, so here comes a heavy-duty truck comes barreling down. Going about, this is the 35-mile-an-hour zone. This truck was hitting about 85 miles an hour. And it was in the city. So I went to get over in a lane, and he's barreling down, and so he hits me. And now this is interesting. So he hits me, and it didn't bother me. Somehow, his bumper, he had a chrome bumper, and so did I. But his bumper hooked into mine. So his truck was pulling my car. I had no control. I couldn't, no matter if I turned it or anything, or tried to brake it, it didn't do anything. It just like the universe came in and said, okay. So picture this. I'm sitting over the wheel of the car, and I'm watching all of this. There's no upsetness. There's no worry, stress, fear, anxiety, panic, nothing. So he pulls, we go way down the street. Cars pulling out of the way, horns beeping, and he pulls me up to and we we come uncoupled, And so my car's going, and it's coasting into this. There's a Mexican restaurant on a corner. And on the corner, there's not a curb, there's a ramp. It's a ramp up into the cement parking lot. It was around lunchtime. And so there was a group of ladies coming out, talking, to each other. And they all looked at my car coming right at them. Now there was no gas. I had my foot on the gas or anything. It just was coasting right at them. And it was traveling probably at about 30 miles an hour. And so they scattered. This was like, a movie or something. Screaming and scattering. And everybody thought that I was just going to go right into the restaurant and, smash into tables and everything. And so the vehicle just stopped. And so I was fully into the body. I was looking around, I'm going, oh, and so here comes the guy that was in the truck that was doing about 85 and a 35. And he is just livid. He is just, livid, really pissed. This is a new truck. And he says, look what you did to my truck and all this. Look at this, all this on the side. I didn't respond to it. He's just yelling and screaming and everything. And I just wasn't. I didn't, it's kind of like it was far away. His yelling and screaming, it was far away. So a police officer shows up. And this is the strangest thing to a lot of people, it would be. But so the universe arranges everything. And to this police officer, I knew him. I knew him from high school. And so we recognized each other. And he said, this happened to me when I was off duty, me and my wife and kids. I said, really? He goes, yeah. It sure did. So now understand, the guy that, with the Super Duty truck, he just totally, he went from Tasmanian devil down to church mouse. He goes and he gets a rope, and he says, here, he says, I'm going to tie your bumper up so you can, at least drive it to a body shop or, so you could drive it. And so the right front was pretty mangled. And so he's tying it up, and the officer and I are talking and everything. And the officer says to me, he says, I'm not going to give you a ticket. He says, this is what I want you to do. You're going to go into court, and you're going to dispute it. So he did write me some kind of a violation or something. But he said, you go to court, and you get your court date. And he said, but I'm not going to show up. And they'll dismiss it. It's exactly what happened. I went to court. He didn't show up. And they dismissed it. Everything just fell into place. I happened to, go to a body shop of a friend of mine who had a brand new front quarter panel for this old car I had. The car was like a 1984, and brand new quarter panel. He had, and it was all new parts. So he made it look brand new. So all this happened, yet I was not upset, irritated, worried, stressed, or feared at all. It wasn't there. It wasn't there at all. It was as if the ego mind was gone, the mind chatter was gone, and I was in a state of contentment and peace. So I learned a lot from that. And this was years ago, about 30 years ago. And so once you have that kind of experience, you realize that you are in the driver's seat all the time. It's just the majority of us just don't know it. We don't know it. And because of all of the things that have influenced us as we've grown up, that's one of the main reasons, because we've been programmed to think a certain way, to feel a certain way, to understand things and perceive things and see things a certain way. And we look at certain things that threaten us, and it gets us upset and irritated and worried. So all of that is programming. So then you learn to start deprogramming yourself. And that's what we're doing. We're deprogramming ourselves of just garbage, crap. And we've discovered that that's what it is. It's the wrong programming. It isn't the right programming. And we know it. And so we start reprogramming, or we deprogram and then put in new information. The new information is that we're supremely powerful, immortal beings that never die. But that's the truth, not some kind of a movie. It's the truth. And so we begin to more and more embrace the gods that we are within the body, and we start learning more and more by not engaging as much as possible the ego mind. We don't engage it. We know it's there, obviously, that it's an illusion, and we watch it so we can learn from it. The more we learn from it, the more we begin to master it. And one might ask, is there anyone on the planet that has completely mastered their ego mind? No. Not at this time. Not yet. Some have gone to a certain extent, yeah. And some of the gurus, it's amazing, they would take LSD, drugs, to see if that would heighten their awareness and so on. A lot of things they experimented with. Who are these gurus? Well, you got Ram Dass, you've got Khalil Gibran, you've got Osho, you've got Maharishi. There's a lot of them. There's just goes on and on and on and on. And you come full circle. You realize is that I'm going to go within because I want to know the God that I am, so that I have an intimate relationship with the God that I am. I don't care to be involved or to involve myself in a material, a physical material world that I've created to experience adventures. I want this kind of life, and this is the life that I will manifest for myself. Because we all deserve the best of everything. And see, that's another thing. Because if the ego mind is firmly gripped as your master, you will not believe that you deserve the best of everything. You might say it, but you know it's not coming from the heart mind. People say, what about these creeps and this? Everybody deserves the best of everything. They really do. And once we begin to embrace these things and understand them for ourselves, which is happening right in this now on this planet, we will progress. We will not dissipate. We will not be eliminated. We will not be in extinction. And at this point in time, we all know that time was created as a construct to enslave us on this planet. And there's other planets that have that same enslavement. But we're being healed in a great way. What are we being healed by? This universe. The gods that we are. It's a great healing love. So I talk about the beams coming into us. And it may start out as a mental, physical, emotional type of thing, or perhaps a super sensual level for you. But don't be too concerned about how, where, or when it will show up. Just know it is infinitely deep and real. And there's an unending amount of it. And just when you thought it was gone, it comes flooding in. Plenty of it. Just when you thought it was gone, it comes flooding in. All you need to do is simply relax into your life for an extended period of time, then it will come. It often shows itself as some profound spiritual experience in the beginning. This is your wake-up call so you know how powerful and real it truly is. We're being flooded 24/7 nonstop for the next few thousand years by pure photon light energy. So what's happening? The veils of evil, pure evil, the deception, the demons and everything are withering because of this. We, on the other hand, are coming out of the caves, so to speak. Darkness will no longer influence us. We'll look at darkness as night and day. Yin, yang. We will seek the particles of light, and they will amass to the point where everything is light. We will be able to see in all light dark particles. But the dark particles are few. And this is huge transition amongst or amidst of all of this confusion, all of this deception, all of this manipulation, all of it. That's the storm. Don't get into the storm. No matter how tempting it is, stay out of the storm. Be in the center. Be with the God within you. In silence, peace, and body relaxation, resting in your body. Focusing on the now. That's it. Listening to your breath rise and fall. Super powerful, not complicated. Don't try too hard, because then you'll get frustrated and fall back into the ego mind. Well, isn't something supposed to be happening? How come nothing happens? I do this, it doesn't, nothing happens. It's happening. But you're protecting your ego mind. And you start to realize that, and you just start surrendering and letting go everything. Because that's when it all comes in. When you let go, that's when it will flow. When you hang on, you're stopping it from flowing. Instead of a beautiful lake or ocean, it's a dry desert, because you're stopping the water from coming in. In the quiet time of this meditation, allow yourself to move into complete peace. Fold into the body. Be in a state of stillness and a position of comfort for the body. And just listen to your breath. And you will float. You will not swim. You will float in the deep eternal love of the God that you are. I join you in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. An easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Whatever suffering is occurring in your life, remember that it's simply there because you keep dwelling on it. Stop entertaining these thoughts. Realize that you are the master who is always manifesting your experience of reality. Sometime today, take 20 minutes to write down and release everything you think is wrong with your life. As you write it, feel it releasing from your system and proclaim that the opposite thought is now true. Get it out of your system so you can stop thinking about it. Once you stop focusing on what's wrong and start thinking about what is right, your suffering will end. Throughout the day, today, practice letting go of trying to fix yourself or figure out what's wrong and focus only on what's right with it. Practice formulating thoughts that are constructive rather than destructive today. Think only about what inspires you, excites you, and makes you happy. Your thoughts happen for you, not to you. They happen for you. Spend your entire day focusing on what an amazing and magnificent life you truly have. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here tonight, Friday, May 3rd, 2024, a little after 9 p.m. Eastern, to continue kind of our potpourri call, our verse aging and other things call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. And sit back and let the magic begin.